Yay. Awesome. Awesome. Let's see who is here. Let's see who is here. Who is live? Yep. Trying to find. Hello, sis. I'm just trying to find a good position for myself. The lighting's not too good. Hello, 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 hello. Good evening. Welcome to another episode of Friday Night Hangouts. Yeah. Who is excited to be here? Oh, see my amazing sister Stella. Nice to have you join us in. Nice to have you join. Welcome, 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 welcome. Thank you so much. I'm so happy to have you here. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Welcome in, welcome in. It's amazing. Welcome in. This is another Friday night hangout, and I'm super excited to welcome everyone. And for the month of April, we've been discussing health and wellness. I am Joy Onyesoh, your host of the Friday night hangout. And you do know how we roll in the Friday night hangout. This is our safe space. It's a space where we discuss topical issues. We focus mainly on issues that affect women, but then everyone is welcome here to interact, to just have some fun, and to share the experiences. Welcome, Royal. It's nice to have you join us. And it's been an amazing session in this month of April. It's really been amazing having all these conversations this month of April. And tonight, we're continuing the conversation on health and wellness. And today, we're going to be talking about our spiritual health. Spiritual health. There are 5 dimensions. It's been a while I've not come up on time. Yes, I'm so happy that you made it on time. Great. Good to have you. Great, great, great. And so tonight, we're going to be talking about spiritual health. And this is very important to me, and I hope you also find a lot of relevance in the conversation we'll be having tonight. Thank you so much. Thank you, Royalette. Now, there are 5 aspects of our wellness, and the aspects are our spiritual health, our financial health, our emotional health, our physical health. I don't know if I've mentioned that, and our financial health, social health as well. So these 5 aspects make us completely whole, like make us well. If you talk about wellness, you need to be healthy in these 5 aspects: social, physical, emotional, spiritual, and also financial. So if you're healthy in these 5 aspects of your life, then you feel happy, you feel satisfied, and you can just move on with life with so much passion, zeal, and all of that. Now, hey, good evening, Chera. Thank you for joining in. Now, tonight, I know at the beginning of this month, we've talked a little bit about physical health. We've also talked about emotional health, and we haven't talked about financial, but we've done a lot of series on finance. So I'm hoping that, we can have a whole session to talk about finance, business, and all of that. We're going to do that next month. So we're going to focus tonight on spiritual health. Now, you often hear this saying, the mind, the body, and the spirit. So anything that is not of the mind and of the body of a human is a spirit. And that is what we're talking about. How can you make that spirit healthy? And so the mind, body, and spirit make you whole. So meaning that your mind, your body, and your spirit have to be healthy for you to be whole and for you to be healthy completely. So we're going to focus on that spiritual aspect of your life that gives you deep satisfaction, that gives you purpose, that makes you wake up and you're determined and you're committed when you set a goal, that makes you show empathy to the next person, that makes you feel connected to the rest of the world. And really, when we talk about spiritual health, we're basically talking about relationships and activities. So, what relationships do you have? What activities do you engage in? And when I'm talking about relationships, I'm looking at even your relationship with God. When I talk about activities, some of the activities we can look at is like prayers, meditation, worship. And now this doesn't is not just exclusive to the Christian faith. This is for all faith. So spiritual health is important for all faith. But of course, as a woman of faith, a Christian faith, most of my experiences and my conversation will be coming from that background. Now, this doesn't exclude anybody. So you can apply what I'm talking about to your own particular spirituality. Now, spirituality is not the same for everyone. It's different. And it's also important that we separate spirituality from religion. Yes, religion is one of the ways you can maintain a spiritual health, but religion is different from your spiritual health. So I hope you've understood this. Remember, I started by talking about the body, the spirit, and the mind. And then religion is one of the tools, one of the means or the vehicles for you to achieve your spiritual health. So that's why I'm saying that spirituality for people, it's different. Now, you may find some people who who grow or enrich themselves spiritually through prayers. You may find some other person who enrich themselves spiritually through meditation. Oh, great, network is back. I've been running around this room trying to find where to get good network. So obviously, I hope it's going to stay. Yeah. So I hope you're getting it. Now, why is our spiritual health very important? So I just want you to sit back and reflect. And I'm going to also talk from my own personal space. With everything happening, you come onto the social media, all kinds of news. You turn onto the traditional media, all kinds of news. You go out every day, you encounter all kinds of things. Life, it feels almost as if it's a struggle. It feels almost as if, there's a lot of negativity happening every day. And this is where your spiritual health becomes very important. It helps to keep you grounded. It helps to keep you focused. It helps to give you hope. That is what gives you hope in spite of everything happening around. That is what keeps you focused in spite of everything happening around. So if you're going through stuff, you're going through challenges, you're in the storm, and you are not spiritually strong, what happens is you may find yourself drowning. And that's why I think it's very important as women, we begin to really be intentional about our spiritual health. And now that's why I pointed out that spiritual health is different from religion. It's not about going to church, going to all the fellowships. It's about you opening up your spirit. It's about you forming a deep connection with your Creator. It's about you feeling connected to the world. It's about you having that audacity of hope that in spite of everything happening, you will thrive and you will come out. That is why sometimes you find people, even though they're going through stuff, they can maintain a very calm disposition. Even though things are going in a very horrible dimension for them, they remain calm, they remain hopeful, and they remain focused. That is what spiritual health does for you. It helps to keep you out of depression. It helps to keep you out of making wrong decisions. And this is so important because a lot of us, especially women, we tend to get messed up when we're going through storms. The storms can come from the domestic front, it can come from the office space, it can come from your business, it can come from your professional space. And if you're not grounded, you begin to question the essence of life. I want you to just step back and think. Has there been any time in your life where you begin to ask yourself, is this all there is to life? Is this what it is? I've been through that phase where I would consistently question, what is this? Is this all life is all about? What is that? I felt that there was so much more. And that is the gap being spiritually healthy fills. It bridges that gap. It takes you to another level of relationship with God, where you begin to really understand, feel, and then you lean in. This is so important at this time. And you know what? And that's why I said the body, the mind, and the spirit are connected. If you are not spiritually healthy, it could create manifestations in the physical. Because if you're not spiritually healthy, some of the signs you may see is you become anxious. Whereas the Bible tells us we should not be anxious over anything, but rather we pray and thanksgiving, we make our requests known unto God. Now, having that kind of deep spiritual understanding make you know that if the birds can fly, find food to eat, if the grasses grow and look, the flowers, come out, blossom, look beautiful, how much more you? Why wouldn't God take care of you? And when that happens, you rest in that knowledge. It helps you take away a lot of anxiousness. It helps you manage a lot of things. And these days with all this cancer, sometimes we tend to think it's manipulations from the spiritual realm, the village people and all of those. But when your spirit is not whole, when you're too anxious, when you're so worried, when you're sad, when you're depressed, when you feel unfulfilled, when you feel disconnected, when you have horrible relationship, it manifests into physical diseases, into physical illness. So we see when they say stress is a killer, anxiousness is a killer. I hope I'm speaking to someone tonight. This is something that is so dear to my. This topic, especially about spiritual health, is one that is so, so dear to my heart. And I want to hear from you. I want us to use the chat box. So tell me, hello, Franklin. I want us to use the chat box. What are some of the things you do to keep yourself spiritually healthy? What are some of the things you do to keep yourself spiritually healthy? And this is important that you maintain a balance. Sometimes you could go on either end, because spiritual health has dimensions. And if you go this way, you go out of balance and you become fanatical. It has its own issues. It creates a lot of dynamics for you. So the key thing here is finding the right balance. Finding the right balance so that you can remain whole. And one of the ways from finding the right balance, it depends on what you look at, what you connect with. For me, I love to worship, I love to pray, I love to read the Bible, and I try to find the balance in the Word. What is written in the Word? What does the Word of God say? So for you, I don't know what gives you hope. I don't know what you feel satisfied knowing. I don't know what makes you wake up and then you say, no, I would say, because my God lives, I can face tomorrow. What is that thing you can say, because of this, I can face tomorrow? Because of this, I can face tomorrow. So it is really critical, because it also affects the way you relate with people around you. It affects the way you see things. It affects even your financial health. You see, spiritual health affects the other dimensions of your well-being. Your physical well-being, your emotional well-being, your social well-being, your financial well-being. Your spiritual health is really central to these other 4 aspects of your wellness. If you're not spiritually sound, you see financial health, your financial health will be a mess. Because when we look at the financial health, we have 3 spectrums to financial health. When we talk about money management, now we look at money management, we look at money acquisition, and then we look at money spending. Some persons go on the other end of the spectrum, and it creates a lot of mess. As always, having balance is key. Even in social interactions, your social relationship, if you're not spiritually balanced, it creates a dimension for you. And that's why I decided tonight to focus on spiritual health. Perhaps it's not an area you have taken, placed a lot of priority on. Perhaps you're just focused on exercising, which is really good, on strong financial management, very important, on your social relationship, excellent, on your emotional health, marvelous. But then to complete this circle, you also need to be very intentional about your spiritual health. And that's why I said earlier on, let's understand what it is. Let's understand what it is. When I said, yes, I like to worship, it gives me joy. Perfect, excellent. I made some notes. And that's why it's very important, that we understand what it is and that we stay focused. Franklin says, I've been single for 3 years and I'm struggling with something. Oh, Franklin, I can't understand all you're going through. I think it's not a coincidence that you're here tonight. I try not to pretend to understand what I don't, because it's only the person that wears the shoes that really understand the depth of the struggle. But like I said, it's not a coincidence you're on this show tonight when we're talking about spiritual health. One of the things I did when I was struggling, we all have our struggles, and the depth of the struggle varies. Everyone at some point in time will go through one storm. I tried to do it alone. I've gone through different storms, from nurturing a child living with special condition in a climate or country like Nigeria, and then also from having several failed businesses before I was able to find my balance. And in all of the struggles I went through, it was only when I was able to connect myself to what gives me joy, to what gives me hope. That was when I found peace. And the truth is, if you don't have peace, it is really difficult to feel satisfied. It is really difficult for you to deal with a lot of things. I remember in the early years of nurturing my daughter, first of all, the feeling was denial. I was in denial. I said, why would it be? I kept asking myself, how come, of all the persons in the world, I'm told that this condition is a very rare condition. That's the brittle bone condition which my daughter is having. And that's only about maybe 6 to 7% of the whole world population. And then I was like, why? Why did God allow this to happen to me? Okay, great. This is Nigeria. Just hold on. Let me try and fix. Oh my goodness, thank God we're back. This is Nigeria and I'm not home. So a lot of stuff happened. Yeah, but to continue the conversation, yeah. So when I was going through that crisis, I kept asking myself, why me? Why my daughter? Why are we meant to go through this pain? And then from denial, I went into anger. I became angry. I was angry at God. I was angry at myself. I was angry at everybody and everything. And then from anger, I now give myself the opportunity or the permission to start. I told myself, anger is not going to solve anything. If this is it, this is what it is. How then can I cope? How can I manage this? And that's when I went into being very intentional about my spiritual health. I didn't even like the anger. I saw it wasn't doing me any good. It wasn't serving me. I just wanted to have peace with the situation. And it became gradually. I started focusing on prayers, on meditation. The hospital where we admitted, there was a chapel downstairs, and I'll make out time. I would just go there. I wasn't praying. I was just sitting there, just meditating. Sometimes I'll meditate with tears running down. I'll just be talking to myself and talking to God. And there's how you go through things. You struggle through things, or you're some kind of storm. You can't even begin to put words or expressions to it. But let me tell you something. God understands even the groanings of your heart. He understands the groanings of your heart more than even the words you speak. And that was how I was able to build myself. And I just kept on that journey till I started growing. And one of the things I would tell you, when I became spiritually healthy, everything around me started getting healthy. Everything, from my health, to my finances, to my social life, to everything, my emotional health, everything improved. And that's why I'm saying tonight that spirituality means different things to individuals. So find out what works for you. Find out what works for you. What does spirituality mean to you? How can you be spiritually healthy? But I tell you that when you're spiritually healthy, when your spirit is whole, when your spirit is connected, when your spirit, is at peace, everything around you will be at peace. Everything around you will be at peace. So for some people, like I said, it may be to worship. For some people, it may be to pray. For some people, it may just mean to meditate. The key thing here is that we're all whole humans. And if you're whole, it means that everything around you should connect. Should connect. And if you're spiritually healthy, it even helps you to go through certain things. It helps you to go through some sickness, it helps you to walk through storms. It helps you even in your financial decisions. Because there's a certain balance it brings. You're not overtly anxious. You just have a balance. You have that courage to take decisions. You have that peace and satisfaction. No, this one is out of my control. And you're at peace with it. Because sometimes we try to do things that we don't even have control. When you want to, like those of, some persons who have control freaks. You want to control everything, but it's not possible for you to actually control everything. No, it's not possible. So there are some questions I would like you to ask yourself. The first question is, what makes me feel complete? What makes me feel complete? Put your name in there. Where I have joy, put your name. What makes me, you add your name, feel complete? And I want you to ask this question from a place of truth, from a place of vulnerability, from a place of, from a place of intentionality. Like, I want you to really ask yourself this question. Because sometimes we're just going through life. Just going through life, whatever the day brings. We don't have plans. We don't think about the future. We allow everything into us, and then it disorganizes us and messes up our mind, messes up our spiritual health, messes up even our physical health because of what we absorb. Haven't you found yourself watching certain news? Oh, there's this channel. I had to really manage how I watch the channel. I'm not going to mention the channel, but some of you may already guess the channel. It's always negative news. Once negative things are happening, they just keep playing that negative thing from morning till night. Is that same thing. And but when you just keep watching, it just without knowing it, you're soaking it in. So you also need to watch that. If just need to watch some of the things you allow in. So ask yourself, what makes you feel complete? What makes me feel complete? Put your name. What makes me feel complete? The second question I'd like you to ask yourself is, when do I feel most connected to the rest of the world? When do I feel most connected to the rest of the world? Because what is life if you're disconnected? Life is not meant for you to live in isolation. Life is a journey. And in journey, you will have companions. In journey, you would have a lot of things. You will meet people, you will interact. You would cry, you would laugh, you would rejoice, you would face tribulations, you would face storms. So what makes you feel connected to the world? What is it? What is it? Very important. Then the third question I want you to ask yourself is, where do you find the most inner strength? Where do you find the most inner strength? I told you about my own story when I was going through the early years of nurturing my daughter with a special condition I didn't understand. I was depressed, I was angry, and all that. But you know where I got my most strength? I told you. From going down into the chapel in the hospital to just cry and meditate. From there, I gave myself the permission to start studying the scriptures. And that is where I find more. I find my inner strength is just in the presence of God. I love to worship. I don't have a good voice. But you see, worship is not about voice. Worship is about the heart. Worship is about the heart. The heart that you bring into the presence of God. So for you, what is it? For some persons, I remember when I was much younger, when I was in the university, one of the things I like to do is to walk in the rain. When it rains, especially when it's at night and it's raining, I love to walk in the rain. It gives me, with that rain, it's so weird. But just having that rain just pouring down on me like that, it just gives me a sense of clarity. I loved it. It was something I always look forward to rainy season. It gives me a lot of clarity. For some persons, it's walking in nature. Some people is just find out what is it that works for you. I'm not recommending anything specific because as individuals we're different. So find out what works for you. For some is volunteering, for some people is in volunteering their time. For some people is serving. They find connection to the world in serving. They find their inner strength in fulfilling their purpose in serving. Listen, you can't serve if it's not your mandate. It's difficult. Service comes from a place of purpose. So as we say, where do you find that inner strength most? That when you're facing the storm, you can just keep moving. No matter how bad things are, you are not seeing it. What you're seeing is that source that you have. I just want to reflect on this Bible story of Christ's disciples, when they were crossing onto the other side. And, they were all in the boat. Christ was in the boat and the storm came. And, the disciples were afraid. And Jesus was sleeping in the boat. And they woke him up. He came and rebuked the wind. At that time, what gave them the inner strength was that they felt Christ was with them in the boat. It's just like today. If you are going through storms, if you are going through challenges, if you're facing health challenges, the loss of a loved one, the loss of a marriage, the loss of a child, different things. People are going through stuff these days. When you see people smiling, you don't know the baggage they're carrying. So some of them have found their strength in things. And my appeal and my honest desire tonight is that you find your inner strength the most in positive things. You find your inner strength in God. You find your inner strength in your Creator. It makes a lot of difference. It's a game changer. Remember, I talked about the 5 aspects of your being: your social, your financial, your emotional, your physical, and your spiritual, and they all connect. They really all connect, yeah. And then the final question I want you to ask yourself tonight is, what are you going to do when you feel whole? When you feel peace, when you feel at peace, when you feel satisfied, when you feel whole, what are you going to do? Are you just going to focus on yourself? What are you going to do that will make a difference? What are you going to do that will make a difference to you and to your environment? One thing about spiritual health is it's not just focused on you. Yes, you're very key, you're very important. But as a result of being healthy, you take action. The actions that other people benefit from. I hope I'm speaking to someone tonight. Thank you. See my sister, Barrister Chiwamene, says, what makes me complete? Exactly. Really says, what am I going to do when I feel whole? Yes. What are you going to do when you feel whole? Very important question. Very, very important question. Remember, I said spiritual health centers on relationships and activities. So as a result of being whole, what are you going to do? Now, I'm going to talk about certain things we can do to promote our spiritual health. Certain things we can do to promote our spiritual health. One of the first things I like to do is to encourage us to set out time to work on our spiritual growth. Set out time. Nothing happens by coincidence. If you do not focus on your spiritual health, then you're not going to be spiritually healthy. Simple. It's not just going to happen. It will not just happen. You need to put effort into it. You need to put work into it. It's only these days that I say, especially not in these days, we just want things to happen. We want to be financially empowered, financially healthy without doing the work. We want to be physically healthy without doing the work. So for everything you need to put in work. You need to put in the work. The same thing with your spirituality. If you want to be spiritually healthy, you need to set aside time to put in that work. Is it for prayers? Is it for meditation? Is it for worship? Is it to take a walk? Like I said, what works for you? But you need to set out time to do that. So you find yourself growing. Wherever you focus, whatever you focus on grows. If you take away your focus from it, it dips. Simple. Where your energy goes, it grows. Where you remove your energy from, boom, it dips. So set out time to do that. The second thing I'm also going to encourage you to do is to allow yourself to be free from the weight of the emotional and spiritual burdens of others. And I say this sincerely. There has to be that me time. There has to be that time you set aside for yourself. For some of us, there are certain jobs you do that you need to carry on the weight and the burden of others. But at the same time, you need to be sensitive to know when to step back and drop that burden. And know that it's not yours to carry in perpetuity. You really need to know when to step back and drop it. Because if you don't, you're always carrying the emotional, it can be draining. And when you're drained and you don't set up that time, remember the first step was I said, make out time to feed your spiritual health. Now, if you don't make out time to do that, you grow. Now, even when you make out time to do that and you don't drop the emotional burden and the spiritual burden of others, and you're always logging it on with you, it will become too much. It was not meant for you to carry in perpetuity. It's not all yours to carry. So you need to have time when, even if it's the nature of your work, even if it's the nature of your calling, even if it's the nature of your purpose, there has to be a time when you step back and drop it. And just focus on you and your spiritual health so that you can have enough to go back. So if you're always working, no time, you'll be depleted and you'll not be of any use to yourself or to the people you've been called to serve. I hope I'm speaking to someone here tonight. And that thing, the third thing you can do to promote your spiritual health is on focusing in building a harmony between your work and your life. Like your work-life harmony is very important. I try not to use the word balance because for my own belief is that in the world we are today, is difficult to maintain a balance. At one point or the other, like when I talked about stepping back and just focus on yourself, when you step back, the load you carry will be there for those months. So, it's not really a balance, but I try to say, to create a harmony, a rhythm, a harmony, so that there is that flow. Nobody's feeling drained. You're not going on the other side. You're not too fanatical, even in pursuing your spiritual health. Some of us can be very fanatical. Fanaticism is not just about spirituality, religion, or that you can. Some people are fanatical about money. That is why they become covetous. You see them, they can do anything to get money. They don't care whether it's legitimate or not. Then some people are so crazy about their health, their physical health. You see them diet and do that to the extent that they harm themselves. So having that balance or harmony or rhythm is really very key. It's really very key, so you don't tip over to the wrong side. Because even being healthy means that you've been able to achieve a harmony in what you do. You eat too much, obesity and other health issues. You don't eat at all, so too much of everything or too little of anything, it's not good. So you have that, strike that harmony or that balance, right? What works for you. And the fourth thing I would like to encourage you to do is to spend time engaging in daily devotionals. It works. I love devotionals that are very concrete, that can look at real life examples, and you just feel as if they're speaking to you. You know how you have that conversation, or you're listening to me now, you just feel like, oh, she's talking to me. Why? It's because you can connect with what I'm saying. You can connect with the examples. And that is how it is with devotionals. Devotionals that can actually translate either the scriptures or whatever you believe in into tangible, real life, daily things that you can draw strength, you can draw inspiration from, that will just keep you moving. And the other things, what to promote your spiritual health is not limited to these four things I've shared. I would also want to hear from you. What else do you think can promote your spiritual health? Spiritual health. Can you share? Can you share? Can you share? Can you share with me? What else do you do to promote your spiritual health? Put it in the chat box, and I would like to know. If you're just joining in, thank you very much for joining in. I welcome you. Tonight we're talking about our spiritual health. And remember, I said that spiritual health is different from religion. It's that when you talk about your spirit, it's that part that is not your body or your mind. And your body, mind, and spirit work in tandem to make you a whole, healthy being. And so we've talked about emotional and physical health, and tonight we are focusing on the spiritual health. And it's really very important for you to be spiritually healthy if you want to enjoy the other aspects of your wellness. And that is your financial wellness, your physical wellness, your social wellness. If you want to enjoy all those health, you need to be spiritually grounded. And it's different for different people, different strokes for different people. And that's why I encourage you tonight to find out what works for you. I shared with you some of my own experiences, what works for me. And also we just had a conversation on how you can promote your spiritual health. And if there are other things that you do that promote your spiritual health, just put it in the chat box so others can read and learn. Remember, this is a space where we share, and we share to uplift, to inspire, and to motivate others who are going through certain situations. You never can tell. A word from you sharing your experience may give one the hope to keep pushing, to keep holding on, knowing that this storm would also soon be over. If this person could have that courage to weather the storm, then I can as well. And listen, this is not the time to start judging. This is not a time to condemn. This is not a time to compare. This is not that time. This is really not that time. This is a time where you really focus on what makes you feel whole, what gives you peace. And definitely drama cannot give anybody peace. There are a lot of dramas happening. You need to be able to speak to yourself I keep asking this question: what do you feed yourself? And you've seen it here. When I've talked about some of the ways you can build up spiritual life, I also talked about things you can feed yourself, like engaging in that daily devotionals is what you're feeding. So whatever you're feeding yourself can make you healthy or unhealthy. If you feed your spirit with trash, if you feed your spirit with junk, that's what you're going to be. You're going to have an unhealthy spirit. If you feed your spirit with negative things, you're going to breed a toxic behavior. So even positive words of affirmation are some of the ways you can also promote your spiritual health. Tell yourself positive things. I'm too focused to give up. I am whole, I am unique, I am an asset to anyone and to any space. Affirm yourself. There is no one like me. God created me specially for a purpose and a time this. Affirm yourself, feed yourself with positive things. The more you feed your spirit with positive things, it feeds your mind and it feeds your physical health. And that is what translates into healing. For a lot of people, it's not just about the prayers. Prayers is important, yes. But sometimes when you disconnect yourself from toxic environment, when you disconnect yourself from toxic words, toxic relationship, you find out that you become healthy. And that's why spiritual health depends on relationships and activities. What kind of relationships do you have? What kind of activities do you engage in? Some activities would, instead of building you, those activities would demoralize you. There's some relationships as well that do not help your spiritual health at all. They make you feel drained. They make you feel sad. So this is that time where you really begin to, and that's why I gave us those 4 questions. And I said, let's honestly ask ourselves those questions. What makes me feel complete? I feel connected. When do I find most inner strength? What am I doing when I feel whole? This question seems simple, but I tell you, when you sit down and reflect on these 4 questions, it helps to redefine, to give you a deep understanding of who you are, what your strength is, what your source is, and how you can maintain your health. And what you can maintain, and how you can maintain your health. So it's really very important that we pay attention to our health. You can't give what you don't have. And that's why this month of April, we've dedicated it completely to discussing about health and wellness. If you're not healthy, you cannot help people. You cannot even live your purpose. Can you imagine someone that is depressed? Can the person help any other person? No. Can you imagine someone that is very sick? Can you help someone else? No. Even to help yourself will become a challenge. And that's why the things we can do ourselves and the things to help us remain healthy, all round healthy, all round, make us whole. Let's focus on those things. Let's focus on those things. In any of them, it's always important to create your me time. Create that time for yourself. When you spend time looking after you, when you spend time feeding yourself healthy food, your healthy food for the spirit. We've talked about them, different things. Find out what works for you. If it's washing is what you need to feed your spirit for it to remain healthy, go ahead and do it. If it's studying the scriptures and picking up promises, prophecies that will make your spirit be healthy, go ahead and do it. If it's meditation that feeds your spirit, please do go ahead and do it. If it's prayers, my dear, go ahead and do it. But the critical thing is for you to know what is it that gives you that most inner strength. Find it, stick with it. As long as it works, it makes you healthy. It makes you healthy. Find it, stick with it. You can't give up on yourself. And you can't allow what is happening all around to determine how you react, how you feel. It's not healthy at all, because things are happening per second. The kind of news we hear, if you're not spiritually healthy, you will get demoralized. You really get demoralized. It's like things are just happening. And right now, I'm so intentional about finding positive things to feed myself. I look for positive news. I look for things that give me joy. So what is yours? Look for it. Because you need to be at peace. You need to have peace. You need to have joy. You need to feel satisfied with life. And it's not only when you have everything. Some people wait. They think that it's only when they want to have money. They want to have peace. They want to have, those things don't give joy. Those things don't give peace. If you're spiritually unhealthy or your spirit is unhealthy, even when you have all those things, you can't be at peace. And that's why I decided tonight to focus on spiritual health as an aspect of our health and wellness. So it's really very key. Sit back, ask yourself these questions, and repeat the exercise. I always like to do a repeat exercise. You know why? We grow, we evolve. We grow, we evolve. One of the things that gives any human being satisfaction is when you progress, when you grow, when you find yourself progressing, you feel happy. Now, how do you know you're progressing if you're not evaluating yourself? And that's why these 4 key questions are very important tools for you to use in evaluating your spiritual health. So periodically you ask yourself these questions. And I like to keep a journal. Can you keep a journal to see what your responses have been in a month, in 2 months, in 6 months? And then you wonder, you look, you just check it out and see what has changed. Why did things change? And that helps you to understand yourself better. You know, when we talk about self-awareness, if you're not intentional about discovering yourself, knowing yourself, there's no how you can know yourself. So being self-aware is you paying attention to who you are, how you evolve it, because the you yesterday cannot be the you today. When you sleep and wake up each day, you evolve, you grow, you change. You could either change for the positive or for the negative. Now, one of the things, another thing about evaluation, it helps you catch habits that are forming, which are not healthy. It helps you to catch them on time and work on them. So you don't allow yourself to, and then by the time you find it, you've developed new habits that are not good for your health, are very detrimental to your health. So evaluate. When you feel you find yourself disconnected or moving away, you put an effort. If you're someone that likes to worship, and if you're not worshiping, you put an effort. If you're someone that likes to pray, and your prayer life is dwindling, you put an effort. Okay. I hope this is speaking to you tonight. If you have questions or you have comments, please use the chat box and put it there. Thank you so much. Royaleshi says, I'm really catching it tonight. I'm so happy. I'm so happy. You know, one of the things I believe in is that even if it's one person that I'm serving, even if it's one person that experienced life change as a result of listening to this message, it is a lot, because that one person is a community. I strongly believe in the principle of spiral effect. I strongly believe in this principle of spiral effect. That one person's life transformed will transform another life, will transform another life, will transform another life. And that's how change happens. That is how change happens. Okay, as we begin to wrap up tonight, just a few minutes to wrapping up, I just want to summarize what we've discussed tonight. We started out with looking at the 5 aspects of, our whole being. And I said is the social, the financial, the emotional, the physical, and the spiritual health that gives us a total picture of our well-being. So your total well-being, is hinged on these 5 areas. And I also talked about what spiritual health is all about. And I talked of ways of promoting your spiritual health. I gave you 4 questions to ask yourself as an evaluation tool, for you to know who you are, to become self-aware, and to help you grow. Violet says, this topic is BAM. I received an inner strength tonight. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much for this feedback. I love feedbacks like this. Thank you so much for the feedback. And that's the essence. Because spiritual health is all about the inner strength. It's about the inner inspiration. It's about the inner connection. And once you can achieve that, a lot of things begin to fall into place. It doesn't mean automatically that challenge will disappear. But what it means is that even within all those challenges, you find your peace. You find your focus, and you're able to keep moving. You're able to keep moving. You don't lose it in the midst of everything. Now, one key thing I want to let us know is that no matter how well you prepare, life will happen. And your spiritual health helps you to prepare for that life, so that you're not just, when it happens, it knocks you out completely. And when you're knocked out, if you're not prepared and you're knocked out and you're spiritually healthy, it helps you to bounce back. It helps you to be resilient. So one way of building your resilience muscle, your resilience simply means your ability to spring back. After every challenge, after every storm, you spring back. You fall, you give yourself, you rise. You fall, you rise. You keep moving. You're tired, you rest. You keep moving, you keep moving, you keep moving. Your spiritual health is at the core of that resilience. It's at the core of that ability. If you don't have that belief, if you don't have that confidence, if you don't have that hope, if you don't have that peace, how can you move on? How can you even live? There's certain things that will happen. And when you hear the news, you'll be like, oh my goodness, let it all end today. Maybe you've been betrayed by a loved one. Maybe your marriage collapsed. Maybe you lost a prize job that you really need at this time. Maybe a customer absconded with your money. And maybe an investment gone wrong. A lot of people put in all their life savings into different investments, and it disappeared, it fizzled out. What do you do? Would you give up? No, giving up is never an option. And that's why one of my mantra is too focused to give up. I can't give up. Life is a journey, so you can't give up. So I want to encourage someone there, you listening to me. Build on your spiritual health. Focus on it. Feed it. Ensure that you're healthy. And I've told you ways of promoting your spiritual health. Be intentional about it. And you find out that you have peace. Peace to do what you need to do. If you don't have peace, there are a lot of things you can do. Even when you try to do it, you'll not be in the right frame of mind. You'll be too anxious. You'll be too sad. You'll be afraid. There are a lot of things. And that's why tonight we're having this conversation. Now, I want to give us a task. I love to give tasks because I love action. If you gather all the knowledge and you don't use it for anything, it's of no use. I love to apply knowledge. When you apply knowledge, you get better at it, you get new experience, and of course, you grow. Now, I want you to tell yourself something, just like I asked you those 4 questions. As a result of the conversation we've had tonight, and then as a result of the questions you've asked yourself and the answers that you get, what 2 things are you committed to doing to promote your spiritual health? Did you get that? As a result of the conversations we've had tonight, 1, and as a result of the questions I gave to you, which you're going to answer, as a result of these 2 things, what 2 things are you committing to doing to promote your spiritual health? 1, 2. And I tell you, if you can give yourself that commitment, watch yourself. Remember what I said, these 4 questions I gave to you, don't throw them away, my dear. From time to time, revisit them, and you'll be amazed if you give yourself commitment tonight and you start working on those commitments, in the next 4 to 5 weeks, go back and check and take the same questions again. You'll be amazed at the results you get. It usually takes between 30 days to create new habits and to unlearn old habits. So give yourself that 4 to 5 weeks and take these questions again. You'll be amazed at the results you'll get. Okay? Now, I want to also invite you to join me again next week, Friday, as we conclude this conversation on health and wellness. And you will know that we're going to continue this conversation. It's going to be very interesting next week, Friday. Thank you for always tuning in. Thank you for making it this Friday. I hope you got value. If you did, I hope you also are focused on taking the actions from the value you've gotten. It's not for me, it's for you. It's for you. And the more focused you are on growing yourself, the more intentional you are about it, that is when you'll see change. If you can normalize taking baby steps, being committed to growing yourself, to growing your profession, to growing your business, and you are not in a hurry, you would see the changes that would happen. Oftentimes, we want to start from ground zero and shoot to 1,000. That's where the challenges happen. So give yourself the permission to start small and grow through the process. You'll be amazed at the difference you would see. Real essence, being committed to reading the word and rendering service in the house of God. Beauty. That's an amazing commitment. And that's an amazing commitment. And I pray you receive the grace to do just that. For those of you, I want to extend an invitation to you. For those of you on Telegram, or those of you who want to join my Telegram channel, just go to Telegram. I'm going to post a link. Wait, just give me a second. Let me just post the link. So you can join me on Telegram tonight. Tonight. Hold on. Let's see. Okay. Yeah, you can use this link to join me on my Telegram page. Oh, let me see. Just a second. Just a second. Okay. Yeah. Okay, I've gotten yes, I've gotten the right one. Let's see. Okay, so I've posted on the comment section. I've posted a link. You can use it to join my Telegram page. I have conversations on that Telegram channel once in a month. And so for this month, I'm going to be having a conversation on Is God Speaking? Is God Speaking? It's a Christian program. So join me tonight. It's usually for 1 hour, 10 p.m. to 11 p.m. once every month. So we had the first edition last month, and this month we're having that of April, 10 to 11 p.m. Okay, so you just use the link if you want to and join me tonight. I hope you did get value. Thank you so much for tuning in and making a date with me next week, Friday, as we conclude our conversation on health and wellness. Remember that you're a whole being and you need to make sure that your mind, your body, and your spirit is healthy for you to prosper. Now, for you to prosper, for you to feel whole, for you to really feel whole, these three things must be in tandem. And then mind what you feed yourself, and we shared ways of you to promote your spiritual health. Remain committed to your growth, keep your focus, and of course, remember to step back and look after yourself when the burden gets too much. Create a me time. Until I see you next week, Friday, from me to you is bye and love you. I honor you and I celebrate you. Thank you for always joining in. And please do this, share this video on your walls. Thank you very much. And I'll see you next week, Friday. From me to you for now, it's bye till we see you next week, Friday.